Okay, let's kick things off with one of our favorites, Robin Garceau. She is a realtor and an interior designer. Robin!
Hi, how are you?
So nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
It's been some time, but you are back with us today, so we're glad to have you. Of course, you can find all of her expertise. She writes for Go Local Profs. You can find her columns there. Also, you can check out her website, Robin Garceau Interior. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, so today we're talking about wall coverings and wall treatments, just so people can kind of get an idea what falls under that umbrella.
Well, wall coverings it's really not like what you used to think about wall coverings. It's very rare that we do a whole room in wallpaper, or you might have fruit or flowers on your walls with the border, the traditional border they used to do years ago. Now it's more about higher end designer oriented wallpaper. Things that are a little bit more dimensional. They may have crystals attached to them. It may be natural wall coverings, paper, rips paper. It may have shimmer or bling or glitter on it, things like that. So it's definitely not your grandmother's wallpaper that it used to be.
Okay, so we're kind of talking about some wallpaper, we're talking about treatments for your windows, we're talking about kind of a whole host of things today. So I kind of like what you said there. It's not your grandma's wallpaper. We're talking about something a little bit different today. And what I thought was interesting when you were talking to me about the segment is you said look at your wall treatments kind of like art.
Yeah, a lot of times you have, you always say, oh, I need artwork on my walls, I need this on my walls. Well, take the wall coverings and treat it like artwork. You may have an accent wall behind your bed. There are times where I do actual framing and then I'll put the wallpaper in it. There are ways to do different types of really exotic wallpapers, say on ceilings and things like that. So, for instance, one of my clients, she has a traditional house on the east side, and we wanted to modernize it a bit. Well, she has these beams running across her ceiling widthwise, so it's a long, narrow room, and these beams are on the ceiling. So what I did was I took a textured wallpaper with a shimmer on it, and we ran it right in between the beams.
Cool.
So now all of a sudden her ceiling became this interesting part of the whole room rather than just a flat ceiling with all these beams. Once the light fixture goes on there, now you have the light creating this really cool effect on the wall coverings. So that's one of the ways you can do it. Another ceiling treatment I did was new construction, very little, small area, it's a pantry, dark, cabinetry, floor to ceiling, and then the ceiling, the light fixture was actually a little off center. So I took a crushed stone wallpaper, which was very dimensional, had a little bit of shimmer, put it up there, and with the light fixture on it, creating that effect again, all of a sudden, number one, you don't notice that the light fixture is a little off center. And number two, you look up and it's a dark crushed stone, and you look up and say, oh my God, it's so beautiful. So little things like that can really make a big, big impact.
Okay. Wow, that sounds absolutely gorgeous. And kind of gets your wheels turning, kind of break out of that normal cycle that we've seen, so traditional, right?
Yes, yes. So another instance, say you have, this was a coastal home that I did. So you have a fireplace in the middle, you have a bookcase on the left, a built-in bookcase, and you have a plain wall on the right. In order to make the whole area become a little bit more cohesive and bring it together, what I did was I did the same color wall, only in wallpaper. It's a shimmery grass cloth. So you like the idea of some shimmer to it because it bounces the light off. And so what I did was I put it behind the shelves of the bookcase. I put it around the fireplace in the moldings. And then I created a molding frame and put it in there on the right-hand side. So now your wallpaper brings you right through left to right, even though you have these three very different areas. Now they run cohesively, you've got a pretty shimmer to it, it's nothing blaring, it's not in your face, but it's sophisticated and beautiful, and it creates just enough of a look where it's not just, okay, everything's plain white.
It sounds absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So that's looking at kind of some wall treatments. Let's move on to some window treatments. What should we be looking for, and what should we be thinking about?
Well, window treatments, when you're talking custom window treatments, there's a number of reasons why you do custom window treatments and how you treat your room. It's not only pretty, which it should be, it is very functional.
Okay.
So if you have a room, say a bedroom, obviously if you want to sleep in the morning, you want to create some room darkness. You may already have a blind up there, Roman shade or whatever, but the light kind of seeps through the side.
Yeah,
so you have, so if you're, if you're sensitive to light, I have clients who are very sensitive to light, have to have their room dark. So what you want to do is you want to put room darkening drapery panels, floor to ceiling, right on each side of it. That makes the light filter less. It doesn't come through the sides, so it's much more room darkness. If you have your TV opposite your window, if you have an 8-foot slider or a 10-foot slider, a ready-made window treatment isn't going to fit on there. And a lot of times you'll have a slider directly opposite your TV. Well, you need something on there to cut the glare. So not only do you want it to look nice, you need it to function properly. There's also a situation I'm working on right now where it's brand new construction. So we designed the room with 2-story windows.
Oh, beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful, but it is going to be directly across the TV. So how do you treat that? Right from the beginning in the plans, it was even before we decided what type of windows, how are we going to treat this wall? So what we're doing is, number one, we are wiring it. We're going to hardwire it for motorized traverse rod.
Ooh,
We're going
cool.
to embed the traverse rod into a decorative beam on the ceiling so you don't necessarily see it. And then the draperies, which will probably be about 20 feet long, will open and close from there. So when you are doing new construction, you always talk about windows, but you really have to think about, how do I treat these? What do I do afterwards? Because it's a whole lot easier to hardwire and embed something in the plans than after the fact. So we're doing a lot of that.
That sounds fun.
It is fun. It is. As long as you're organized right from the get-go, and you understand that they do play a very big part in your house, and people are doing very unusual windows and throwing things in there, circles and ovals and these little eyebrow windows, and sometimes it's probably not in the best areas.
You think it's fun until you figure out, I don't really want that light right now, and I can't find anything to cover it up.
Yeah.
I can't find anything, and then you realize how expensive it is too. We've talked about a lot about window treatment, so you figure out how expensive it is too, or how tough it is to ship it in.
Yeah.
So another thing that you said, just the whole new construction thing, and what I thought was kind of neat is you said to create an illusion of height or width. What do you mean by that?
Well, a lot of times in new construction, old construction, you might have a sliding glass door right next to windows, or you may have a window on one wall and then it turns around and now all of a sudden you have another window or a door on another wall, but yet they land at different heights. A lot of times what we can do is add window treatments to give the illusion of the same height.
Oh, okay.
So we may bring the draperies up and the valance or cornice up higher. So now that sliding glass door matches the same height as the other window.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
So you don't have window treatments, one's up here and one's down here, and it looks kind of odd because they're different heights. You can also do a design. You can create a design of maybe a nice architectural element, nice moldings at the same height as your window treatment. So when you're building, when you're designing, those are the things that you want to think about. And a lot of times it gets overlooked, and all of a sudden you're installing a window treatment and you step back and you look at it and you say, that looks kind of odd.
Doesn't match,
because
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And even the width, sometimes you have a narrow window and you have this little, much bigger window on the other side. So you push the draperies off the narrow window to create a little more width. And the other window you bring in a little bit, and now all of a sudden you have a better balance between the two size windows.
Okay, great. So another big one that we've mentioned before is the holidays. So what are we looking at in terms of timetables? Because a lot of people, you're hosting parties, you're hosting get-togethers, maybe you're hosting a holiday meal, which would be a very big get-together. What are we looking at in terms of timetables? Is it too late? What do we have to think about?
If you are not actively working on and already ordering your treatments right now, do not think about the holidays.
Okay.
You can order things now. I've had clients doing, because they're not thinking about the holidays per se. You have to have it in your head, this is one day of the year. Custom window treatments, custom furniture, they are going to last you 15 years. You can have it next holiday.
Next holiday season,
next
you host.
year you'll be all set, ready to go. But what happens is you begin to rush. When you rush, you make mistakes. This is an investment, it's important, and you treat it like you're buying furniture, buying window treatments. You want to make sure you're doing the right thing. Otherwise, it's just going to be a mess. You're going to be all stressed out, and it really shouldn't be a stressful thing. It's window treatments. This is supposed to be the fun part. This is supposed to be the jewelry. This is supposed to be, I love this. This is great. It's not supposed to be like, oh my God, we don't have our dining room chairs and we're hosting Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow. That makes everybody stressed out. So honestly, if you're not actively involved and if you don't worry about the holidays, that's great. You can still order. I still have a lot of projects going on, but I would step back and just realize that, especially this time of year, things get back ordered and you're probably not going to have them.
And you also said that the storms, Harvey and Irma, could play a role in getting things places on time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you're ordering anything from overseas, so I've already been hit with some back orders and light fixtures that if they're coming from overseas, they may say, okay, it's back ordered 30 days. Well, that 30 days comes and goes, and now it's back ordered 60 days.
Yeah,
So when you have big storms like this, your back order could double, because now you have to think about the containers coming into port. You have to think about transportation over land. So basically our whole southern part of our country has been in storms in the past few weeks. So anything that's trying to be transported from, say, Texas or California or Florida or anything like that now is delayed even further because everything has stopped. Harvey put us back maybe a few weeks. I had some things coming in from Texas. I'm not quite sure when I'm getting things from there.
Wow.
Florida, Georgia, now the tropical storm's coming up to Georgia, and all of that is delaying. So when we're hit with storms like this, it really does delay a lot of the design work. So you have to be patient, you really do.
So that's an implication that probably a lot of people hadn't quite thought about. You're doing home design, you're working on this. I know people renovate their kitchens and it takes a very long time, and then the storm can impact, it might not be something that you think about.
Mm-hmm. You really don't. And as a designer, and when I'm ordering product and waiting for things to come in, I see these storms coming, and all I can think of is that's it. You know, it's going to be another 3 weeks before it even ships out, and that's what can happen. And because it's coupled with the holiday time, then it's even worse. So because at this time of year it's very busy, things get delayed anyway, so it does get worse. So my best advice really is just be patient. It's like I said, it should be fun. It should be
Exactly.
It should be something that you're looking forward to. Nothing that's you're gonna pull your hair out over.
Exactly. So have fun with it and try to relax. And it's okay if your product's a couple weeks late.
Yes,
it's okay. That's the least of your worries.
Yes.
So Robin Garceau, thank you so much for joining us today. Always good to see you. Always good to chat with you and get some expertise advice. You can find her website. We'll put a link to it up on Go Local Prov as well. And you can always check out her articles on Go Local Prov. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.